I
This
got response
conference will
Vijay.
now be recorded.
Okay. So as Stanley told, this entire session will be recorded and will be shared in the YouTube, in the private to YouTube. So you will have the access to the entire videos, and we will provide the course content as well. I mean, the demos. Sorry. So everything will be in the GitHub repo, so that we will share to you. So as soon as we complete the session, that will be shared, so that will be useful for you to practice, and it will have all the information what we have discussed on the particular day. Okay, so as you already gone through this, just I want to make you through the content of the course. So totally it is I think it's a 15 days course, right? Yeah, it's a 16 days. So actually 15 days is the fully the course, and the 16th day is the like if you have any questions, or we have some set of Terraform questions we have, and the few certification tips and use cases we will see on the 16th. So up to 15 days, this is complete Terraform content. Okay. So first, we will see the basics of infrastructure as a code, okay, and then Terraform basics and Terraform fundamentals. The first 3 days is the very important one to understand the basics of Terraform, how Terraform works, the architecture and all, okay. So after that, from the fourth day onwards, we will get hands-on how to write the code in Terraform, okay, and then we will see the meta arguments. After that, we will see what are the options, the various options available on the Terraform, like meta arguments, the for loop, and depends on, and then variables. Okay, and then in one of the section, we will also we are going to see the CI/CD pipeline as well using Terraform. How we can implement the CI/CD pipeline, that also we are going to see it, and the Terraform state, okay, and Terraform provisioners, and Terraform modules, and Terraform expressions. And we are going to have a Terraform Cloud and Enterprise in 2 days. So we have split in 2 days, so that you will get enough hands-on and knowledge on this important topic of Cloud and Enterprise. And then finally we will have the import and the graph and the local workspace and all. Okay. Yeah, this is the course content. Okay. Sorry, actually, I forgot to introduce myself. So I am Suresh. So I have 14 plus years of experience in IT. So currently, I am working in DevOps team. Uh, so basically, it's Terraform and with GCP and AWS. These are the two main areas. Azure, I have some knowledge. Yeah. So this entire course in the demo, we are going to uh, we are going to see on the AWS and then Azure. Okay. Okay, fine. So let's get started now. Okay, fine. So as this is the first day, we are going to see the basics of IAC. IAC is nothing but infrastructure as a code. Okay. So in today's agenda, uh, how we were managing the infrastructure in traditional way, and how the IAC tools overcome those issues, and what are the different type of IAC tools we have, and what is mutable and immutable, what is the concept of mutable and immutable, and why do we need Terraform when we have various IAC tools. Okay, and we will have the comparison of other IAC tools with Terraform, what is the advantages of Terraform, and finally we will go through the lab how to install Terraform on the various OS, and then for the landing and the demo purpose we have to have one cloud setup, so that we will set it up, so that you will also set in your in your own environment for future practice. Okay, and finally for every end of the session we will have the knowledge check. So whatever we are learning, so finally we will have some kind of question and answer. so that it will be, give more confident when you answer it. So that kind of session we will have in every end of the session. Okay. So before going into the IAC, I mean infrastructure as a code concept, first we need to understand how we are managing the infrastructure in traditional way, right? So let's assume there is a person called admin one. He is from operation team, and in the particular project they have a environment called dev. Okay, so this particular person want to create many resources on this particular dev environment. For this, assume he is taking 5 days because he has to follow many steps and manually, and for each resource creation he has to do manually, right? So for that, he is taking almost 5 days to complete the task. Okay, and let's assume the same project is having another two environment, QA and staging. So in normally, in the real time, whatever the resource we are creating on the development environment, the same has to be followed for the QA and the staging and then production and then DR, whatever the environment, we have to follow it, right? So if he's taking 5 days for the dev, then he also take 5 days for the QA because he is following the manual process to create the each resources, right? And in the team we have the another team member called admin 2. So let's assume he is going to taking care of the staging and other environment. So in that case, admin 1 has to provide the documentation what he has followed on the dev and QA, right? So he has to prepare the documentation and he has to pass it over to admin 2 so that he can refer the documentation, create the same set of resources, whatever created on the dev and QA in staging environment. So finally, the admin 2 also is going to take the 5 days, right? So let's assume even we have more, even more two environment like production and disaster recovery. For this also he has to follow the same steps manually, and another 5 days he has to take to complete the task, right? So this is how we were keep on doing for creating the resource for the some particular project or for particular application, whatever it is, right? So if we see overall, it, the particular thing takes 25 days to complete the activity, right? So this is the problem in the managing infrastructure in the manual way or in the traditional way. Okay, so what are the other limitations or other problems we have? So let's assume if admin one has to prepare the documentation, while prepare the documentation, if we miss anything on the documentation, then the admin 2 does not know what has been created on the dev and QA because admin 1 only knows it, right? So he just follow the documentation and he will create those with the missing step. So in that case, what will happen? The dev and QA will be in the different configuration, and staging and production disaster recovery in different configuration. Finally, these will not be in sync, right? And these will lead into many issues or outages. Okay, so we will get into many issues because of this. So to avoid this, we uh, we have to go for the IAC. I will come to that part. First we will see what are the disadvantages we have in the traditional way. Okay, so these are the problems we have, like no CI and delays issues, outages, and not in sync. These are the issues we have in the manual process. Okay, and one more thing is, let's assume, suppose if we get more task, like we have to create the another kind of set of resources, like another 50 resources, right? So in that case again we have to include the more team members to complete the task within the timeline. That's again the burden for the team, right? So these are the issues in the traditional way. And also we will see the DevOps side, because right now everything is DevOps, right? So even if it is the infrastructure, we are handling through the DevOps only, right? So first we need to see how the DevOps task had been handled before automation. Okay. So for that, just we will see the few, one simple example. Let's assume there is a developer. Okay. So the developer created an application. He write the code and he created an application. Okay. So now he wants to test this application. Okay. For testing this application, he has to have some environment, right? So this particular resource we have to create, this particular infrastructure we have to create it, right? So for that, again, we have to set up the servers, configure the networking, creating the route tables, install softwares, and configure the software and install other dependency software. Everything we have to do it from the scratch, right? So that he so that he is able to test it by deploying the application. He can test it out. So it's not only the one time task. After creating this infrastructure from the scratch, we have to maintain it going forward, right? So suppose in going forward, if he ask us to increase the configuration, we have to do it, right? So if you want more resources, we have to do it, right? So thus maintenance also we have to take care. Okay. And and as I told, we have many environments. So like dev, QA, and staging, those stuff. So we have to follow the same steps in all other environment as well. The repetitive task we have to do it repeatedly, right? So these are the tasks we have to do manually. Previously, before automation, we were doing this manually, right? So what are the issues? Again, there is high possibility for human errors, and it will take more time and more effort from the team members, and we need to have the more human to do this, right? So these are the disadvantages we have in if we follow the traditional way of infrastructure. Okay. Now let's understand what is infrastructure as a code, how it eliminates whatever the issues we have discussed till now. Okay. So just for information, suppose if you have any questions in between the session, you can interact me directly. You can interact me and you can ask me. So let's have the uh, like uh, like a discussion session. Okay. Just for information. Okay. So whenever you have a doubt, you can interrupt and you can ask. Okay. Okay, fine. Let's move further. So what is infrastructure as a code? Okay. So can you just tell me anyone what is IAC? What is infrastructure as a code? We know what is code. We know what is infrastructure. Then what is infrastructure as a code? Anyone is having any basic idea about this?
Just have a basic knowledge on this. Infrastructure code, we can automation all the tasks in the over the code. For example, whatever the infra we needed, it's kind of uh, everything we can do over the code. We don't need to do
Oh,
anything on the
yeah,
manually.
yeah, exactly. The perfect answer.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, that is the same. So let me go into the deep from the basic. Okay. So let's assume before going into the IAC tool, let's understand this. Okay. So we know we have various scripting tools. It's available in the market, right? The Shell, Python, Ruby, Perl, PowerShell. There are many tools available in market, right? So the scripting tools, why we are using the scripting tools? Because we can use the scripting tools. We can code using the scripting tools to automate some set of task or piece of task in the OS or in the environment wherever it is, right? So we can user can write the code to automate the task using the shell, Python, Ruby, whatever it is, right? The same way, user can write the code to automate the infrastructure. What is infrastructure? Like infrastructure means it may be a server, okay, um, like if you go to the cloud environment, it may be the EC2 instance, it may be the load balancer, or it may be any repository, it may be the EMR, it may be like security vault, whatever it is, everything is one resource, and those are we are calling as a infrastructure. So still we can create the infrastructure using the command. So if you take the AWS, we have a AWS CLI command tool and the Boto3 module we have, right? Using that, we can still create the infrastructure using the Python or using the shell. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is, if you are automating some piece of task using the scripting tool, we can call it as task as a code. The same way, if we create the infrastructure using a code, so that is called infrastructure as a code, right? Okay, now you may have the question. So when we are able to create the infrastructure using this PowerShell and Python, or using the scripting tool, why do we need Terraform? Why do we need other IAC tools? Is available in the market, that we will discuss now. Now let's say what is the disadvantages we have in the scripting tool. Okay, as I told, still it is possible to create the infrastructure using Python or Shell or PowerShell. Okay, because we have a API and we have a command line tool. Okay, but let's say using scripting to create the infrastructure. So this is the simple shell script to create the EC2 instance on the AWS. Okay, here the problem is, if you want to write the shell script, okay, that particular person has to have the knowledge on the shell scripting. I mean, he has to have the highly programmatic, the programming skill he has to have. Then only he can write the logic and he can write it. Okay, because it's not the simple one to create the scripting languages. Okay. So this is the just one screenshot of the EC2 instance. So what are the limitations we have? Infra team has to have programming skills and difficult to write coding using logics. Okay, it's not easy to manage. Okay, going forward, if you want to modify something, you have to understand each and every line. Then only you can update the script. Okay, and in the same way, many of the team members does not aware about the scripting languages. Okay, and uh, the particular person have to understand about the platform APIs, okay, how it is working. For example, if you are creating the resources using Boto3 module, the person has to understand how the Boto3 module works and what are the options are available. Okay, and also it is not easy to reuse this script again and again. Okay, these are the problems we have in the scripting tool. Okay, even though we are saying we can still do, but these are the problems. Okay, so let's assume, what if we can write a code in simple format where we can just say our desired infrastructure like this. So let's say this is a YAML and this is the TF. I will come to the TF later point. So I hope everyone is aware of the YAML file. Okay. So if you see here, this is the human readable format, right? If you see, just we are saying that this is the key name and this is the instance type and this is the image ID, and this is the group of group name. Okay, and how many servers we need, count we are mentioning, and what is the subnet and what is the public IP. So there is no the serious logic involved here. It is straightforward coding, right? So so this will be very easy to understand and easy to manage and easy to reuse, right? So that's why we have these many tools available in the market. Particularly for the IAC tools. So .tws
Suresh, sorry to
yeah,
interrupt. So,
yeah.
can you please reiterate what is the difference between IaaC and the other one, right? You just gave this difference, right? Infrastructure as a code and the previous one, or
Which
just
one?
previous one.
You
Yeah,
want
this task
more
as a code.
understanding between IAC code and normal scripting code.
Task as a code. Yeah.
Okay. See, task as a code is nothing but, for example, just for understanding purpose, I have mentioned this. In particular OS, if you want to do some task, like if you want to install some application on your server, okay, for that you are doing some, you are creating some script. So that is the task actually. And if you want to pull some information from the server, like how many applications are installed on the server, or if you want to install some particular agent on the server, okay, so those are the simple tasks, right? So what I'm trying to say is, if you are doing if you are creating the scripting to do some piece of work, that is the task as a code. But whereas the infrastructure means, it is the whole, it's the complete infrastructure from the scratch, right? So it is creating the server itself, the infrastructure, right? But a task as a code means you have to do some specific task inside the server. That is the difference. So infrastructure is different, task is different. You got
Yeah,
it?
got it, Suresh. Yeah, got it, Suresh.
Yeah,
Task
yeah,
as a code is nothing but it's already deployed environment, and we are doing some task. And
yes.
infrastructure as a code is nothing but we are building a new environment from the
Yeah,
scratch.
building a new MF from the scratch. Yes, that's perfectly correct. Yes.
Yeah,
So,
thanks, Suresh.
yeah, yeah. So here the TF is nothing but the Terraform. Okay, it's a Terraform extension. We will see it later. Okay, so even as you can see the YAML file, even you can see here, we are just mentioning the AMI ID and what is the instance type, and still we can mention what is the count and what is the subnet and what is the VPC. Everything can be mentioned as a key value pair. So it's a simple, and it's a simple human readable way, right? So that's why this IAC tools dominates now compared to the scripting languages. So to land this IAC tool, you need not to be a very highly programming skills. Just you want to know that the remote platform. If you are going to implement this Terraform for AWS, you have to have the knowledge on AWS. If you have to have knowledge on Azure, so it's depend on that uh, the end platform. Okay, but the writing the code is very simple. It's we have a complete documentation in the in
Terraform
reach.
can be managed only in cloud development, or can on-premises also can be managed?
Yeah, on-premise also we can manage. Like we can manage physical servers, we can manage VMers. We still we can do it. But in current scenario, most of the cases Terraform is used for the cloud platform. But still we can manage it. Yes. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay. So till now we know like the basic understanding of the infrastructure as a code. Okay, so this is a simple architecture how it works. Okay, so let's talk about this, the first diagram. Okay, the template, the scripts, policies, these are the components of the IAC. Okay, so script is nothing but whatever I have shown here, the TF, right? That is the script, we can call it as a script. Okay, and the templates we have and the policies we have, we will see it later point of view. Let's assume these are the components of the IAC. Okay, and these will be stored on the source control. So what is source control? It is the source version control. So the GitHub and the Bitbucket. Uh, so these are source control. I mean,
Uh,
okay,
Actually, Suresh, sorry to
yeah,
interrupt, sir, here. I mean, which means GitHub means like we have to the repository, right? This
yeah,
source of when we deploy, we give the repo, right? That's the one you're referring. Source
yeah. That is
control.
the one I'm referring. Yes.
Okay.
So why do we need GitHub? To store the scripts or files in the centralized repository so that every can make use of this. Okay. So in general, instead of storing into a local machine, it is always better to store onto the centralized repository. Okay. Uh, you will come to know why I'm saying this in later point. As of now, just assume these will be stored onto the source control system, so like a GitHub. Okay, so from there the code will be pulled. The orchestration is nothing but it is orchestrating all these things. Okay, this will be the Terraform backend thing. Okay, so it will do the validation and verification the code, and once it is deployed, once we execute the script or Terraform code, it will create the resources on the end platform. So if it is it may be AWS or Azure or GCP, whatever it is. So it will create network resources. We can deploy application, we can create storage, we can create security components, we can create other cloud infrastructure. So these are the things we can do using IAC. So this is uh, the basic definition and basic architecture. Here if you see, IAC is a managing and provisioning of infrastructure through code instead of through manual process. That is the main thing. Okay. So yeah, in nowadays, as I told, everything is managing in the DevOps way. I will come to that. Okay. Okay, so this is again one more high level design. So as I told, source version control is nothing but GitHub and the Bitbucket. If you go for Azure, it's I think we have Azure repo. In the Azure DevOps, I think we have Azure repo, and in AWS, I think we have code repo. I mean code something is there. I forgot. So
Code commit.
those are the correct. So those are the place we can store our code. Okay, so as soon as we have stored the code, so on the below layer we have IAC tool. So IAC tools may be different IAC tools we have. We will discuss about that. So these will be pulled by IAC tools. I mean, will be executed by IAC tools to create the our desired infrastructure. Okay, this is the high level design and implementation. Okay, so till now we have discussed what is IAC. Now we will see what are the different kind of IAC tools we have in the markets. So as you can see, we have Terraform, CloudFormation, Azure Resource Manager, Google Cloud Deployment, okay, Ansible, Chef, Puppet, SaltStack, Vagrant. So these are many IAC tools we have available in market. And why should we use Terraform? We will discuss now. So when we are talking about the IAC tools, we can differentiate in three categories. One is configuration management and server templating, and then provisioning tools. Okay. So under the configuration management, this Ansible, Puppet, SaltStack will be there. I will explain you what is configuration management, what is server templating, and what is provisioning tools. Before that, we will see what are the tools no or in the this particular category. So if we talk about the server templating, we have a Docker and Packer and then Vagrant. Okay, and we are discussing about the provisioning tools. So there we have Terraform, CloudFormation, and Google Deployment Manager and Azure RM. Okay. So CloudFormation is nothing but this product comes from AWS. Google Deployment Manager is from GCP, and Azure ARM is from Azure. Okay, we will discuss in detail. Okay, now let's understand what is configuration management. So we know that we have these are all IAC tools only. Okay, so what is configuration management then? See, so configuration management is nothing but let's assume you are creating one infrastructure or you are creating one server. Okay, now you want to do something on the infrastructure. You want to do some configuration. For example, if you take the EC2 instance, as soon as you create the EC2 instance, you need to do some kind of hardening. Okay, you need to run some kind of scripting, or you need to enroll. Yeah, go ahead, please. Okay, so you need to do some kind of hardening, or you need to run some kind of scripts, or you need to enroll this particular server into your configuration management system. So this is the configuration. Basically, we are configuring the resource. That is the configuration management. So mainly we are using Ansible, Puppet, Saltstack. These are the tools we are using for the configuration management. Okay, still we can use Ansible for provisioning, but we should not or we may not. That I will come to that. Okay. Okay. So this is what I explained. So design to install and manage software or maintain the standard structure like hardening, those kind of stuff. Okay. Okay. And what is server templating? So for under server templating, we have Docker, Packer, and Vagrant, right? So this is nothing but as you know, the Docker is the lightweight server. So here uh, server is also one infrastructure, right? So we are creating the lightweight server with the required a component or required packages, so that can be used for used as a template. From that we can create multiple resources, right? So that is what the Docker, Packer, and Vagrant. So that is the templating tool. What is template? Template is nothing but from the particular one we are making many copies. That is the templating. So so these also IAC tools, and mainly it is the immutable infrastructure. Okay, we will discuss what is immutable infrastructure. So as I told, it will have the pre-installed software and dependency packages and everything as images. Okay. Okay. Okay, now provisioning tools. So so as you know, provisioning tools is to create the resources from the scratch, right? Like creating the servers or creating the networks or creating the database, whatever it is. So so that is the provisioning. I mean, provisioning means we need to do from the scratch. Okay, so for that we have these many tools we have. Okay, and this is also a immutable infrastructure. Like what is immutable? Again, I will come to that. Okay, and like we can deploy server, database, network components, etc. and etc. Okay. Okay. So in current scenario, everything as DevOps. So IAC is dominating now. So if you want to be a DevOps expertise, or if you want to be part of a DevOps team, you may be infra. Your backend may be infra, or you may be from application team. Whoever it is, you have to know the IAC. Then only no, you can survey on the DevOps team. So so just to show that I have this one. So ISC is the top one if you want to be part of the DevOps. Okay. So we will discuss what is CI/CD and all in the later session. Okay. 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 Now, why do we need Terraform? When we have many IAC tools, why do we need Terraform? Okay. Unless the other IAC tools, the Terraform is supporting many providers. So like we can manage the physical machines, we can manage VMware, we can manage AWS, we can manage GCP and Azure, right? Even more we have using Terraform. Using Terraform, we can manage more cloud platforms. I will show you that. Okay, so that's why we are going for Terraform. If you take the if you take for AWS, like a cloud formation, that will that will be no that will work only for the AWS, right? If you go for GCP deployment manager, that will work only for the GCP. If you go for Azure ARM, that will only for Azure. But Terraform, it's a global one. We can make no use of we can use Terraform to manage and to create resources in various platforms, right? So in the current situation, in the single organization is having both Azure or and AWS. It's a combination of cloud platform, right? So in that case, we have to choose the tool which is compatible for both the platforms or all the platforms. So if you think that way, the Terraform is the best choice, right? Suppose if you are using only the AWS, that is when you may go for AWS. Okay, but the best way is the Terraform to manage everything. Okay, so it supports multiple platforms. It is the open source. Okay, so no need to write in orders. The writing Terraform code is a very simple one. Okay, You need not to be so logical person. Just have some basic understanding about the platform, okay? And having desired and current state of environment. I mean, what is desired and what is current state? Current state is like before executing the Terraform code, let's say you don't have any VM in the cloud platform. That is the current state. What is desired state? Desired state means what do you want now? Okay, what do you want? You want to have the 10 machines now. So the 10 machines for the 10 machines you have to write the code, right? So that is the desired one. So the Terraform will have the information for both. It will have the desired information, also it will have the current information. That is the beauty of the Terraform. How it is possible? There is a concept called state file. I will come to that, okay? And immutable and declarative and client only. We will discuss the last 3 points in detail, okay? So before that, I will show you what are the other platforms Terraform supporting other than these things, okay?
Suresh, sorry to interrupt. Like the
Yeah, yeah,
third point, like having a sorry, fourth point, having desired and current state of environment. What it is
yeah,
refers. Could you explain that more into that?
yeah, sure, sure,
This
sure.
your fourth point.
See, the current state, maybe let's assume you have a VM machine with T2 size, I mean T2 micro size, okay? That is there in the currently, that is there in the AWS console currently, okay? That is the current state. But desired state is you want to change it to T3 dot large size. That is the
Oh,
desired one. That is the thing you want actually, right? So for that
okay.
you will write the code, okay? Once you write the code will say it. I mean the current state should be T3 dot large. So it will change it. But in the backend, we have a file called the state file that will have the current what the current state. See what I'm trying to say here is the current state means before executing the Terraform code, what is there that will be stored in a state file. Okay, so
Got it.
so the Terraform
Got it.
knows what is the current and what has to be changed. So the Terraform is having both the information, what is current and what has to be done, right? That you will understand clearly when I am
Okay.
talking about the Terraform state or in the next session. Next session we are going to discuss about
Yes.
the Terraform commands and all. So in that definitely you will get understand. But at least now you got something, right? What is current and what is desired.
Yeah, yeah, I got that. I got the point. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Yeah. So now I will show you in the Terraform site. So if you go to provider side, so the provider is nothing but this is the end platform which is supported by Terraform. Okay, so if you see here, the Terraform is supporting AWS, Azure, GCP, and Kubernetes, Alibaba Cloud, and Oracle infrastructure, Active Directory, see Azure Stack, DNS, and Helm. See, whatever you are seeing here, everything is supported by Terraform. So what it means, using Terraform, you can manage all these things, right? So there is no difference between writing the code for each platform. The logic is same, only the keyword will be different, okay? But the way of execution or how the Terraform works, those things are the same for all the platforms, okay? Only the thing is for AWS we may have different I mean different wordings. For Azure we may have different wordings, that's it. Otherwise the concept is same, okay? Okay, now we will see the comparison, okay, between the few IAC tools. Okay, we have here Chef, Puppet, Ansible, SaltStack, and Terraform. Okay, so if we see here, the I mean all the IAC tools are the open source, so that's fine. That there is no difference between that. And cloud. Yes, everything is supporting the cloud. That is also fine. But when you come to the type, these are the configuration management, and this is the orchestration. Okay. So I explained what is the configuration management. It is for configuring your server, or it is for doing something on the resources, or going forward if you are going to manage. So for that it will be better choice for these things. Okay, I will come to that. So now infrastructure. So these are all mutable. These are all immutable. The Terraform, and then cloud formation, or Azure, or
Sorry to
and
interrupt. Sorry to interrupt. So what do you mean by orchestration here? Because generally orchestration is nothing but a configuring tool, right? So how it works here?
See, orchestration is nothing but it is orchestrating the various blocks, or various tools, right? So that's what I just told here. Uh, See here, in the IAC we have templates and scripts and policies, and we have many components, right? The Terraform is orchestrating each and everything, and it is doing its activity. I mean, its activity. So that is called orchestration.
No, orchestration in the sense what orchestration means, whether it is deploying or configuring, how it works actually.
Actually, it is combination of both. It will deploy and it will configure each and everything the Terraform will be taking care. So basically, what is orchestration? If we have, see, let's go for the Kubernetes concept, right? That is the microservice concept. So Kubernetes is nothing but it is orchestrating the microservices. It means it is managing all the microservices, all the containers, right? The same thing here in Terraform, we have many blocks and many components. Those are all orchestrating, and it is giving result. By orchestrating everything, it is giving result to us. It is
Basically,
managing all the blocks. That is called orchestrating.
like it is actually like sequence of steps.
Exactly, yeah, we may say that. Yes. So okay, and the
Like
language, yeah, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, correct, correct. See, like Suresh, I just want to add something. Like if like no, when you're building a like no provisioning a volume kind of thing. So what should be done? Like no volume name should be there, volume size should be there, and like no what are the access that needs to be have on the volume. Those are the things. Like no, it is like no the sequence that we make, right? So that is like kind of like orchestrating things, I believe.
Yeah,
Correct?
correct. Also, it is managing the entire life cycle of the particular infrastructure. Right, so that is called orchestration. It is provisioning and configuring, and then it is taking care of the lifecycle actions. So everything is calling as a orchestration. Okay.
So whether it is a predefined or whether we have to define the things as Jagdish said, right? Like these are all the notable points like that. So whether we have to define those things or it will be taking automatically.
uh I mean, okay, actually
No,
few things we have
orchestration.
to we have to define it.
Okay.
Okay, for example, if you take the policies, yes, you have to define it. Okay. uh, See, for example, see, normally orchestration means in the music world, the orchestrator, right? What is orchestrator? The orchestrator, the responsibility for orchestrator is he has to manage all the musicians, right? The each and every person is, you know, I mean, he will play. They will play the music. He has to orchestrate, and the entire the outcome is the combination of all the music component, right? The same thing here. So we have many component in Terraform. I mean, we have many blocks in Terraform. We have many policies. We have many templates. So while you are executing the Terraform script, it will orchestrate everything, and it will give as a end result. That is called orchestration. You don't get confused.
Yeah, got it,
Maybe
got it.
as of now, you just assume orchestration is nothing but the provisioning. Okay.
Okay, fine.
Okay. So
Fine, fine, sir.
language, yeah, yeah, okay, okay. So the language, it is procedural and declarative. Okay, I will come to in the next slide. I will have explanation of all this mutable and what is client and everything. So we will directly go to there. Okay. First, we will see what is mutable and what is immutable infrastructure. Okay. So if you see the configuration management tools like Ansible, those are the mutable. So what is mutable? Let's say this example. This is I'm just giving as an example. Don't stick with this particular one. Okay. I will try to explain different way as well. But as of now, first we will see this one example. Okay. Let's assume we have one OS. Okay. And on top of the OS, we have installed one application, the application name called app version 1.0. Okay. So now let's assume we have created this particular resource using Ansible or using the mutable IAC tool. Okay. Okay. Now again you are just updating the code to install the version 1.1. Okay. In that case, what happens? The mutable IAC tool, it will try to install the version 1.1 on top of the version 1.0. Okay, because this mutable does not know what is the current state of the infrastructure. So it will just you are just saying I want to have 1.1 instead of 1.0. So what this tool does, it will directly go to the OS and it will try to install version 1.1. Okay, so what is the problem in this? See, uh, we have, as we are installing on top of the version 1.0, we may end up with many issues like the compatibility issues. Okay, basically if we uninstall this and if we install, that is fine, but here that is not the case, right? So also if we have any issues with the OS, then again we may get into some issues while installing. If there is any issue, then again we will get into issues, right? So for debugging and troubleshooting, that is taking a long time for us. So that is the problem in mutable. Then what is immutable? So the same scenario, let's take here. The immutable IAC tools such as CloudFormation or Azure or Terraform, whatever it is. Let's assume we have another, I mean, we have one OS or VM. On top of VM, we have installed 1.0. Okay. Now, if you want to, now you're modifying the code to install app version 1.1. Okay. Now the immutable, what it does is it's intelligent to enough identify this particular modification as to rebuild everything. Okay, so it will rebuild means it will destroy the existing one and it will create the new server with the same OS, and on top of that it will install the required application, whatever we have mentioned in the code, that will be installed here, so that here we can easily avoid the many issues because the OS is fresh. I mean, fresh means uh, what we need. I need OS. On top of that, I need only this application. Only that will be there. But whereas in this case, we don't want this app we 1.1, but still it will be there because this mutable does not know what is the current one, right? So that is the problem. So in mutable, we have the troubleshooting time will take a longer time, and it is very difficult to find out the issues and the causes. But in immutable, it is very simple one, and it is predictable deployment. What it means, because whatever in the code, that should be there in the end environment, right? So obviously it is predictable. Okay, but whereas here this is not the case. In the code you mentioned only version 1.0. If someone sees the code, it will have the OS and it will have the app version 1.0, but in the actual environment we have app 1.0 as well, right? So that's what this predictable. It is always having whatever in the code that will be in the end environment. I mean in the end platform. So this is the mutable and immutable. So if I want to explain in more in clear way, if you are up, so it's see here one sentence here. So mutable is happen in place, okay, but in the immutable, that is in update in place. We will call it as update in place. Okay, let me explain in different way. So immutable means when you are updating or when you are modifying the resources, if that is not affecting the core part, then it will do the changes whatever it has to be. Okay, suppose if it finds out this will impact your resources, then it will recreate, it will rebuild the resources. Okay, so for example this one. Okay, maybe let me take you the Docker one and I will explain you. As I told, don't stick with only the OS and the version. Okay, it may be load balancer. For example, okay, let me explain in this way. I hope everyone at least a basic idea of the cloud platform in AWS. Okay, you know what is availability zone, right? In particular region. Okay, let's assume you have created one instance in the availability zone A. Okay, that is what you have created the code. Let's assume you are creating that code in mutable IAC code. Okay, so you have created it. Now, unfortunately, that has to be in A is at B. Okay, now you want to change the code, right? So you are going to you are changing the code as it's not availability zone A, it has to be B. Like that, you are changing A to B now. Okay, now it has to deploy. I mean, it will deploy the instance in the availability zone B, but still I mean, the instance will be available in availability zone A as well. Okay, that is the problem. But our goal is the instance should be on B only, not in A, right? So, but whereas in the immutable, in the code, initially you are creating the instance in availability zone A, but later you realized it has to be in B. So you are changing the code like A to B. Okay, now you are executing the code. Now the immutable infrastructure, I mean immutable ISC code is intelligent enough to find it out. Okay, I cannot to move this instance from A to B. I have to destroy the instance from A and I have to create the new instance on availability zone B. So that is called immutable. Any doubt or getting confused between these?
No, like I mean, if there isn't any updates on top of the app, and it will be like version one that is called like immutable, right? And if you're taking as a availability zone, if availability zone one is not available, then it will be I mean it will be deployed in the availability zone B or two, which means you're trying to say like it will be replace
Yeah. Yeah,
the
replace.
swap.
Replace means it will destroy in availability zone 1 and it will create an availability zone 2.
Okay. So how the way it's identifies to the availability zone B will be the suitable to this infra as is
No,
there
no, no.
any intelligence?
No, no. It is not having that knowledge. You are having that knowledge and you are writing the code, right? So
Okay.
what I told is, in at the very first time you have written the code stating that the instance has to be in the availability zone 1. Okay, but later you realized, okay, I just wrongly no written it has to be 1, but actually it has to be in 2, availability zone 2. Just for example, I'm saying. Okay, now if you do it, then automatically it will destroy on 1 and it will create on availability zone B. That is the kind of knowledge it will have, because in the code you have written the instance has to be only in B, not in A, right? But whereas the immutable, it does not know about the current state, so it will do like it, as it does not know the current state, it will just do on the B as well instead of deleting in A. Okay, so let me rephrase again using the Docker. As I told, the Docker is also the immutable infrastructure, right? I will show there. Then let's see whether you got it or not. Okay. So I hope you people know something about the Docker. Okay. Okay. So let's say. Okay, so this is the simple Docker file. So okay, on top of the Ubuntu, I'm just no, I'm just updating the OS, and then I'm just installing Apache, and then I'm installing the Python 3. Okay, let me do this way. So this is simple Docker file. Okay, so what I'm doing here is. See, we are not going to mention in the code you have to be immutable, you have to immutable, not like that. Just you have to understand the architecture in the back end how it works. For that only I'm just explaining this. But for writing the code, this not needed. But as we are learning Terraform, we have to understand particularly about this mutable and immutable. That's why I'm just explaining this. Okay. Okay. Uh, so here we have Docker file. So now let's say I'm building it now. Uh, okay, wait. Uh, okay, let me rebuild. Okay, we are building using we are giving an image name called sample image. So now if you see. Okay, again it is taking from the cache. Okay, okay, forget about. So let's say I'm just I have written on top of the Ubuntu. We have to do this update, and you have to do this Python and then Apache too. Okay, that is what the it is doing. Okay, first it is taking from library the image, and then it is doing update, and then the third step is doing Python and Apache. Okay, okay, fine. Now if I'm adding something here, right, in the below, I'm just adding one more line to install the Python pip. Okay, now let's say how it works now. Remember, this is a immutable. Docker is a immutable. Okay, okay. Uh, okay, everything is getting from cache. That's the I want to show you in real time. Mm,
I think you have to create the Docker file again because it's taking your existing thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, let's do one thing. Okay, let's create image. Okay, fine. So let me save this in different one. Okay, it is in now here. Okay, let me delete this. Docker file is there. Okay, now why it is not taking okay, leave it. We don't want to waste time. So I will try to explain in the previous one itself. Okay, so let me go into this one. Okay, just see here what I'm doing. Docker build -t something test dot. Okay, now let's assume it is taken from cache, but let's assume it is installed newly. Okay, so it has created the image now. Okay, now if I add at the end of the line, okay, country.pip. So if I add this, then it is not disturbing anything, right? It is just adding at the end. That's it. Okay. For example, if I add this at the top now, okay. Let's say I'm adding uh, okay, let it be. Let me add this Apache now. Okay. I'm just changing the order now. Okay. Okay, done. Now you can see what is happening. I'm doing just build again. Oh, now again it is taking. Okay, there is some issue with this. I want to show you something, but somehow it's not working now because everything has been installed. Okay, maybe can anyone say any application, a different application in Ubuntu? We will install it. Uh, Apache SGPD. Okay, SGPD. Okay, that is called Apache. Okay. Any other tool? Anyone got an idea of any tool name? We will just quickly see this. I want to show you
You
one.
can try that trust tool, right? Increasing
Which
CPU.
which one?
That the trust tool, like loading the CPU. Just a
Okay.
minute. I'll
Oh,
get you
just
the
check.
name.
Okay, yeah. Or I think it will be better if there is a application, some application. So that will be, visually we can see it, what is happening. That's what I want to show you. But as I installed already, it is taking from cache every time. Mm,
Can install the FTP server, Suresh.
okay, okay. Can you tell me the command?
Uh, apt install, same apt install space FTP space -y.
Okay. So let's see this now. Okay, if you see here, you can see, right? It installed FTP, but again it is installing Apache. I mean, it is rebuilding. Previously, when we are adding at the bottom, it is not doing okay. But when you are adding the new one or you are modifying the order, it is recreating this image again and again, right? It is installing Apache now, and next it will install Python. See, again it is installing Python now, right? Again it will install the Python pip3. So this is
So the
called immutable.
yeah, sorry to interrupt here. So
Yeah,
the existing configuration will be moved to backup state, right? That image will be backed, and then only that new image will be deployed, correct?
correct, correct, correct. So what I'm trying to say here is, if it is able to find, it won't affect the resources, then it will just do its job. Okay, suppose the change, the update you have made in the code, if that affects the core of the resource, then it will delete and recreate. For example, in the EC2 instance, there is you already created the EC2 instance like t2 dot microsize. Okay, now you are updating the code, change it to t3 dot large now. Okay, now in this case it won't destroy it, just it will update it, because the changing the t-shirt size won't affect anything. It can simply shut down and it will do it. Okay, so that is what I'm saying. You don't think that if it is immutable, it is always destroy and create. Don't think like that. Whenever it is needed, it will destroy and recreate. But in mutable, that is not the case. Whatever it is, it won't destroy at all. It will just try to do on top of the resource itself. Okay, the same thing we have seen in the Docker file now. Even though it is already installed, as we change the order, it is again rebuilding everything, because we have changed the order, right? That will impact anything. That's why it is intelligent enough to recreate everything. Okay, I hope you understood. I just tried my best, whatever I can explain regarding this mutable and immutable. Any
Yeah,
doubt on this?
got that. Last point
Okay.
is really
Yeah.
fine. I mean, FTP, when we configure the FTP, it is reconfiguring the Apache and reconfiguring complete application, right?
Yes.
Dependency
Yes.
also.
Yes. Yes.
So Suresh, tell me one thing. If we are using that immutable codes like Google
Terraform or
deployment,
cloud formation. Yeah.
if we run the code existing TF5, it will
Mm,
destroy the current running environment and recreate a new
yes.
environment, right?
Yes.
We
Yes.
cannot
Yes.
recover that.
No. Why do you want to recover it? See, you are the person. You are telling to Terraform you need this. You need the desired environment, right? Then why do you want
Yeah,
to recover it? I mean, yeah, you got it, what I'm saying? In
yeah,
available
yeah. Got it.
zone, yeah, that's what. Okay, okay.
Will
So,
there be any
Uh,
glitch in recovery? I mean, or any reinstalling? Will there be any glitch on the existing infra when we perform?
sorry, sorry, sorry.
I
Come
believe.
again. I missed the first part. Come again.
No, what I meant to say, like, if we are initiating the rebuilding or the versioning or the application,
Mm.
in immutable way, like it will recreate rebuild the application, right, at the infra. So at the time, is there any glitch or the outage downtime is required on the application, right, or how it is?
Definitely, it need because
Okay.
it is destroying and it will reboot the machine. Definitely, it need, yes. But again, I'm telling that particular example. I just for understanding purpose, I have taken the example. But the real
Okay.
time. The application migration or application installation will not be do in this way. That is
Okay.
in that we will take care in different way. Okay, yeah, yeah. Go ahead, the next question.
In a
That's
worst
it.
scenario, like in worst scenario, like if
Mm.
unable to make a application as I mean unable to make them to come on online, are there any building during the build there will be any issues, means like what will happen, any restoration policies are there, are there any snapshot we have to do that?
Okay. See, that is you were talking from the end platform side. I mean, if you are
Okay.
talking about AWS, you're talking about the AWS side, right? But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that you need to configure that snapshot or backup, whatever it is. But in the Terraform side, the Terraform is making sure whatever you have written the code, I have the copy. I mean, if you
Mhm.
lost something, we can recover it.
Okay, got it.
Okay, that coding point of view, the Terraform point of view, yes, it is there. Okay, okay. So now let's talk about the procedural and then declarative. So the procedural is nothing but you have to write the code in the step by step, and you have to explicitly mention the instruction, like how it has to do. Okay, for example, if you go for Ansible, like if you want to I mean the same example, if you want to reinstall the application, then you have to explicitly mention there is a software already, you have to uninstall it and then install this and then reboot. These many steps you have to explicitly mention, but in declarative, no need. Just what you need, just mention that. That's it. Do you need this application, or you need this state? Just mention it. I will take care. That is the declarative. It's a simple outcome only. You are going to mention it. Okay. You can understand from this statement. The system is stupid, but you are smart. You have to be smart enough to tell the code. These are the steps you have to follow. But declarative, the system is very smart. You don't need to worry about anything. You just have a better understanding what has to be the outcome. Just mention it, then remaining part the Terraform will be taking care, or CloudFormation or AWS. I mean Azure, whatever it is. Okay, so that is the called procedural and then declarative. Okay, and then this thing already we have seen it. What is configuration and what is provisioning? Let's talk about agent and agentless. So the Terraform is the agentless one. Okay, so what is agent? Agent is nothing but if you have Ansible is also agentless, but if you go for a Puppet and this Chef, these are a agent one. What is agent? We have one server there. You have to install the Chef application. To communicate to the Chef application, you have to install some kind of the lightweight software in all of the target resources. But agentless means you don't need any agent. Just if you have the Terraform tool on your system, that is enough. It will be taking care of the remaining things. Okay, so that is called the agent and agentless. But you don't get it involved on this agent and agentless. Okay, just for us for just for understanding, I just explained it. Okay, Ansible is also agentless only, so that is fine. Okay. Okay, now let's talk about Ansible and Terraform. When you are, even though we have seen lots of IAC tools, but mainly all of the people are very concerned about the Ansible and Terraform, because these are the two IAC tool is dominating in the current world, right? So when will you go for Ansible and when will you go for Terraform? This is the question. Obviously, no, everyone will get it, right? So let's see what it is. See, if you are going to if you are going to create the infrastructure from scratch and manage, then it's a better choice for better choices and I mean Terraform. Okay, but if you want to manage the infrastructure or manage the applications, okay, uh, for the stuff you have to go for Ansible and Puppet and Chef. Okay, so Ansible is not the best tool to create the infrastructure, because you cannot because the Ansible does not have the current state, so it is very difficult to manage. You have to be very smart to manage what has been deployed, right? And based on that you have to modify the code or write the code. So always go for Terraform. If you want to create the infra from the scratch, you just go for Ansible. Just if you want to manage the infrastructure or configuring application or something else. Okay, so these are the simple comparison. So again, this is simple another comparison. So let's see, this type is orchestration tool, configuration management tool. This is fine. Syntax, this is HCL. It's a spelling mistake. It's a HashiCorp a language. Okay, HCL means. Ansible is the YAML one. Okay, language, it is declarative and procedural. Default approach, it is immutable. This is mutable. And lifecycle, it support, it does not support. And capabilities, it is provisioning, both are the same only. So the main point is these two. This is Terraform is immutable, and it support the life cycle action. So what is life cycle action? Again, if you create one resource using Terraform, then the entire part you can manage through Terraform. The entire life cycle of the resource you can manage through Terraform. How it is possible? Because Terraform is holding the current state and the desired state. So it knows the current state, and so that we can easily manage the life cycle. Okay, but Ansible we cannot. Okay, okay, and this is the simple configuration. How in the real time, in how the some organization are using combination of both Terraform and Ansible, right? In most of the cases, if you go to the real time, most of the cases, the both will be there in the project, Terraform and Ansible. So let's see how they are using it. Okay, so let's say we have a Terraform. Okay, .tf means is the Terraform file. Okay, that is the extension of the Terraform. So we have written everything in the Terraform format. Okay, for deploying the infrastructure. So we have used Terraform to create the VPC and the EC2 subnet and whatever stuff we have created. Okay, that is that for that we can use the Terraform. Then why should we need Ansible? For example, as soon as you create the EC2 instance, you may hardening the instance, or you may enroll the system into your configuration database tool, right? So for that, as soon as the particular EC2 instance get created, the Terraform can trigger the Ansible to configure the instance, or to enroll this instance into some other tool. Okay, it may be Symantec, it may be
Configuration cannot
HPC.
be done by Terraform, so only Ansible can be done. So I just want to confirm once.
Sorry, come again.
So configuration management only can be done only by Ansible. So can we done the same with Terraform? So I'm just
No, using Terraform, we cannot do it. See, using Terraform, as I shown
see that
here, right?
configuration means I just can you little bit can I get some
The
clarification? I'm not
configuration means, so let me tell you in the
because I'm
EC2
little bit
instance level.
confused
Okay.
background. So
Yeah, that's fine. So you are creating one VM, okay? After creating VM in the Terraform, you mentioned like I need this kind of configuration, like this kind of CPU, this kind of memory, and this many storage, and this is the OS. Everything you mentioned, and it's gets created, okay? After
so that can
creating,
be done through Terraform, right? That
that
is
can be done through
infrastructure
Terraform. That is
setup.
the skeleton of the skeleton of the resource.
Okay.
You did it through Terraform, but after that there is something sit on the VM, right? That is called OS, right? For the OS configuration, like we are taking from the image, the base image, but after deploying, you may configure the OS, right, for joining into domain, or you may implement some security policy based on your organization, right? Or
Right.
you
Yeah.
may
Yeah.
need to install some semantic agent software. There are many things there, right, in real time. So
Mm.
those kind of
So
stuff,
which
Ansible
means
is the best choice.
server build will be done with the help of Terraform. So like application installation, or if I want to add
Exactly.
the server to the domain, some hardening stuff that can be done through
E-
Ansible.
exactly,
My only
yes,
query here
exactly.
is, can we install application through Terraform? I
Yeah,
mean, nothing like
that's
that,
what
right?
I
So only
gave you.
server
Yeah.
build can be done, but we cannot install application.
I don't know. I
Is it?
will explain that little bit more. See, if you see here, initial application setup. So using Terraform, at very first time you can install application, but going forward you cannot update application or configure application. That cannot be done. Only at the very first time you can do it, but later you cannot do it. For that, Ansible is the best choice. Actually, Terraform we are using only for creating the resources, not for no this application setup or configuring, not for that. Terraform is for creating the skeleton of the resource. That's it. You got it?
So do we, I mean, do we do the same thing? We will be having any demo like, I mean, by integrating what can be done through Ansible, what cannot be done through Terraform? Is that any
Yeah,
project?
yeah.
Do we have
In
any
upcoming,
session like that?
yeah, in upcoming session, we have many demos. I mean, we have many concept in Terraform, right? So
Yeah,
while
that is fine. Yeah, fine.
yeah,
Okay,
while
okay.
showing the demo, I will show you that as well.
Because we just want to know what cannot be done from Terraform. That needs to be clear. So that's
Yeah. This is the one. Configuration cannot be done through Terraform, as well as it is the immutable. It is a little bit slow compared to Ansible because it has to fetch the current state and it has to do the activity what you written the code, right? So for all these, it will say it will take some time compared to Ansible, but in the real time you won't feel the lag, but in backend that is the concept. Okay, if it is the immutable, it will take some
okay.
time.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so that is what we have explained here, right? So the Terraform will trigger the Ansible to configure the resources. Like if you want to configure the EC2 instance, then we can trigger it. Or if you want to enroll something on the or something on the Symantec, then we can call the Ansible. So these are in real time. Most of the companies is having the integration of Terraform and Ansible. Okay, but in this particular course, we are going to see only the Terraform, not Ansible. I'm just talking about Ansible because many of them confused between only the Ansible and Terraform. Why should I go for Terraform? Why should not go for Ansible? So for better understanding, we have discussed these many things till now. Okay, so let's move further. Okay, so now let's back to the traditional way. So we have seen what happened in traditional way of managing infrastructure, and we have seen what is IAC tools. Okay, now how to uh, how to overcome the issues which were in the traditional way. Okay, so that's what we are going to see here. Okay, so let's say we have IAC, we are going to use Terraform. The same scenario, the particular person, the admin one is there, he is taking 5 days. In that case, he took 5 days for create the resource on the one environment. Okay, but here he took 5 days. He took 5 days to create the Terraform code. For example, if you want to deploy like 30 resources, he took 5 days to create the Terraform code. Okay, and then he stored on the GitHub repository. Okay, so now from the GitHub repository, there is a concept called CI/CD, that is continuous integration and continuous deployment. I will explain you that later, but as of now, just assume CI/CD is one kind of tool which will execute the commands. That's it. Okay. So as we are a human, we are executing some commands manually, right? Some by typing the command, we are executing something. So the same thing, the CI/CD is the one person. The person is executing the Terraform commands. That's it. So what I'm saying is the admin one took 5 days to create the source code and stored on the GitHub repo. Now, as soon as the pipeline gets triggered, this pipeline means the CI/CD only. Okay, so the pipeline will fetch the code and it will execute the Terraform code. As soon as the Terraform code executes, it will create the resources on the dev. Let's assume we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pipeline we have here. Okay, so if we execute the pipeline dev, then the resource will be deployed on the dev. That's it. That is he already written the code, the generic code, he already written it. Okay, so no need to worry about it. If you want to deploy in QA, just execute the QA pipeline. That's it. Then all the resources will get deployed in the QA in within seconds or within the minutes. Again, the only one person can take care, no need additional person. Okay, so again the same thing goes for all the environment. So the code is same. Once we return the generic code, The same code can be reusable for all the environments. Okay, so this is how we can tackle the issues whatever we have faced in the traditional way. Okay, so it
Suresh, I
is
need a
yeah,
clarification.
yeah,
So
yeah.
CACD, you are referring the CACD, right? So CACD is a generic one, or it's particular to the Azure DevOps
Okay, no, no.
CI/CD pipelines and all.
CI/CD is a generic one. See, before Azure, I mean, before cloud, let's say before cloud also, we have a concept called CI/CD. I think, yeah, do you know the Jenkins? uh, there are many CI/CD tool are there. Okay, in on-premises before cloud, in on-premises, in the DevOps team, they are using CI/CD pipelines. So we have Jenkins, Tekton. There are Git Actions. There are many tools available for particularly for on-premises. Okay, so that is called CI/CD. Now Azure, AWS, GCP, these guys are adapted this, and they have created their own tool. CI/CD is the generic terminology. Okay,
Okay,
you
Suresh.
got it?
Thanks for the
Yeah,
clarification. Yeah, I got it, got it. Thank you.
yeah, okay. So as we are using in this architecture, it is a one-time task, right? Only we can return. We have to spend time to only return the code. That's it. And we can reuse this as a template, and it is very quick and fast. It is very reliable, and we have the audit as well. Okay, okay. So the entire 25 days can be reduced to 5 days now. Okay, so that is the power of IAC tool. So it is best to use IAC in the DevOps architecture. I mean in the CI/CD architecture. Okay, and scale up and scale down is on demand. Scale up and scale down is very easy in this particular architecture. Okay, okay. So we are in the final one. So what are the advantages, right? So Terraform is very simple. It's a very simplicity. So everyone can write, right? And it is like a keeper value. So everyone can understand and everyone can write the Terraform code. Okay, and it is very fast compared to the manual process. Okay, and uh, anyone can easily update it, and the scalability. So uh, we have a version control system, so it is very scalable. So if you want to right now, if you install the 3 instance, if you want to have 2 more instance more, then just on single line, just add it and execute it. That's it. Job is done. Okay, so that is the scalability. You can scale down or scale up. It is very easy to do here. And visibility, it is having, as I told, it is having the current state and uh, what desired state. We have the visibility what has been created, right? So you need not to go through the GUI mode and what are the resources has been created. You need not to worry about it. It is as the visibility. We have few commands. If you just execute the command, it will show you what has been created using this Terraform code. Okay, and if anyone sees the Terraform code, that is also very easy to understand. So that is the visibility. So that is stability, and this is scalability. Okay, so as I told, once you write the code, we can make use of this in many environment as a template. So that is a scalability. And the audit, just as we have the state file, it is having all the information what has been created, and what is the configuration of the resources, and what is the current state. Everything we have, so we can use it for audit purpose as well. Okay, okay. Now let's get into the practical session, like how to install Terraform on Windows and Linux. But in this session, I'm going to show you only on Windows. Linux is very simple. It's just an executable file. Just you need to place it, and you just to configure the path. That's it. There is no difficult installation. Okay. So most of the people are using Windows. Just I will show you on the Windows now. Okay. And we have to have the prerequisite is, you suppose if you're going to manage if you're going to use Terraform for managing AWS, then you have to have the AWS CLI just for authentication purpose. Okay, and if you are managing Azure, you have to have the Azure CLI for authentication purpose only. Okay, the same thing goes for GCP. If you're going to manage GCP, then you have to have the G Cloud command line tool for authentication purpose. Okay, so now let's see how to install Terraform on the Windows machine.
Suresh, for the TF files and other file related to the Terraform will be explained on tomorrow or the other classes, right? I mean, this is for the
Yes, yes,
okay.
yes, yes, yes.
And
So
second thing is like I mean, as you said, like AWS and GCP Azure or any other private cloud like VMware platform that we wanted to integrate. Is there any cheat sheet for that? I mean, to like what kind of task can be done, achievable in the Terraform? Uh, because
okay, you
if
are asking only for specific for vCenter, right? That means VMware, right?
yeah, private clouds, Nutanix or
Right.
VMware platform. And is there
Okay.
any cheat sheet that what all the tasks can be achievable? So we are learning like in a generic way, like but however we wanted any cloud to be integrated with this Terraform so that we can achievable, right? So that's just how we can get that details.
Okay. See, first of all, if you are going to create Terraform code for VMware, first of all, you have to be have good knowledge on the VMware first point, right? So
Okay.
now, if you know how to create it manually, suppose if you are going to create the VM on VMware, first you have to know how to create it manually. Okay, if you know how to create it manually, then we have this Terraform registry site. So here, if you go to the VMware, uh, okay, maybe let me go to this. I think what is next? I don't know.
Yes, ST
So
networking.
yeah, so here we have many. These are we will discuss in detail in upcoming session.
Yeah,
But
fine.
as you asked, just I'm showing you. So here,
Okay.
if you see, these are documentation. I mean, for example, if you want to create the DNS, right? First, you need to know
Mhm.
how to create the DNS in this particular NST now. If
Okay.
you know that, then you can directly come here and see how it has to be created. The sample code and everything will be here. You just
Okay.
read it out, just understand. Basically, you know what is tag and what is display name, everything you know it, right? Just you need to just you need to know what is the keyword for display name. So here the keyword is display underscore name, so this is what you need to use, like that. So this is
Okay.
kind of cheat code you have. I mean,
Mm. Okay.
so whatever it is, VM or AWS or Azure, we
Anything would be the
cannot
similar
write it
to
on our own. We have to depends on this registry side, because we have many resources. We cannot remember everything. So even if you want to create the simple resource, you have to come here and you have to refer here and you have to write it. It's a very simple one. Everything is here in the site only.
okay.
Okay.
And the last one is Suresh, like regarding the CI/CD pipeline, will that be explained in other classes or because I was just
Yeah,
still in
yeah.
confusions
You're
on
not
the
getting it.
CI/CD.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
I
Okay.
mean
Yeah,
like
yeah.
dev.
Okay.
You mentioned
Yeah, yeah.
something
If
dev and the thing, right? The QA dev and it
uh,
is all I mean predefined or else we can manage on our own or how it is. That
No,
is
no. See, in
confusion that
the
I
real
have.
time, in the real time environment, see, if you are working on the if you are working with the application team, you may aware of this dev and QA and all. And
Yeah,
in
yeah.
real time, for developing purpose, they have one environment, right? That is the playground. We can play
Yeah.
whatever we
The
can.
POCs
So
can be
once it is
achievable.
success, the same thing has to be replicated in the other environment, right? So for that, we have these many environment, right? That is what I
Okay.
explained. So in that, what is your doubt? Sorry, I missed it.
No, actually, how the CI/CD pipeline will be, I mean, formed. I mean, how the CI/CD
Ah, okay.
working
Ah,
into this.
yeah, yeah. That we will discuss. If you see in
Oh,
the, mm,
fine, fine, Suresh. Thank you.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
all.
We have session. Let me see. I have updated that one. Yeah. If you see here in the eighth module, we will discuss about the CI/CD pipeline as well, because many of them asked about this. So we have included it. We will show you the simple pipeline, how it works and how we can implement for different environment. Okay. We will
Yeah.
have it. Okay. You will get it.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Suresh. Sure.
Yeah. So why we have come here? Okay. For now we will. I have a Windows machine in my AWS. So let me switch it on.
And one more thing, Suresh. So how we are going to write the code in Terraform, and how we are feeding in the CI/CD or pipeline. Those things also will be covered, right, in the upcoming
Yes.
sessions.
Yes. See, the next 2 days we'll be discussing about the mandatory things. What has to be, what is the prerequisite for Terraform, and w- what is the syntax and how the Ashika language should be. I mean the syntax, right? That is the day 2 and day 3. And if you see the day 4, this is where we are going to see hands-on write the code. Okay, once you get familiar with the upcoming 2 sessions, on the 4th day you will have after completing the 4th day you will have confidence to write the code yourself. Okay,
Okay.
so
So
those
is
things
there
we will
anything
discuss.
like whether we have to be prepared, like deploying a machine like that? So for practicing Terraform.
Yeah, so we are having one Git repo that will be shared with you. So whatever the session we have discussed, right? The same thing will be available there. You can go ahead and code will be also there. Okay, you can understand the code and you can execute or you can modify whatever you can do it. That will be given to you and every end of the session.
Fine, Suresh. No. From our end, whether we have to deploy any machines, test machines like that.
Oh, okay. No need. Actually, if you have the laptop, that should be fine. And you have to have the any one cloud platform like AWS or Azure or GCP, whatever it is,
Okay.
because that is our remote platform. Using Terraform, we are
Okay.
going to manage that. So you have to have the access to that AWS or Azure. That should be fine. And for executing Terraform code, laptop should be enough.
Fine. So
So
here
that is.
we will be covering with Azure DevOps or AWS Cloud Formation.
No, we are not going to discuss about the DevOps anymore here. We are going to discuss about only the Terraform, but using Terraform, we will see both AWS and Azure because as people are coming from AWS and Azure, I will show both. Like the both the code I will show in both the way I will show how to write the code on AWS and Azure.
Fine, Suresh.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So now let's log into the Windows machine. As most of the people are using Windows laptop, so I'm just showing in the Windows now. Okay. Uh, okay, we log into Windows machine. So let's go into that particular this stuff. Okay, this is the link where you can download the Terraform. So okay, let me go into the desktop now.
Can you ping in this chat?
Yeah. See, I will share the GitHub link, right? That will have these information. So you don't worry. Yeah. I will show you that link as well. GitHub repo at the end of the session. In 10 minutes, I will show you. Okay. So this is the Terraform. So if you want to install on Mac, you can go for it. So we have various versions. Now we are going to install on Windows. So let me go for Windows. Okay. And this is based on your CPU architecture. I think this is AMD. Okay. So let me go for AMD. Yeah. Okay, as I told, this is a very simple tool. It's not the execute. I mean, it's not the installation one. It's just a executable file. Okay, so let's go to the download folder, extract. That's it. So we have this file right now. So that's it. If I go to this particular path, I think it's very smaller to you, right? I don't know. Okay. Uh, so if I say Terraform hyphen version. Okay, now that's it. This is called installation. That's it. Okay, just you need to download the Terraform executable file, and you have to go to this particular path and you need to execute. So for setting the path, better you will configure the environment variable so that you need not to be on the particular this path, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just copying this to some Windows folder, maybe. Okay, if you put into Windows folder, then you need not to configure the environment variable, but let me put here. Okay, Terraform, and I'm pasting the executable file here. Okay, now let's configure the path for this. So go to environment variables and just in the path, right, you just edit it, and at the end of the line, let me go to the end of the line. Okay, this is the end of the line, comma, and just paste the path C Terraform. Okay, that's it. Okay, now I can run the Terraform from anywhere. Okay, so if I say Terraform hyphen version, it is executing. That's it. The Terraform installation on Windows is completed. Very simple one. Okay, so so if you want to, I just set the path through GUI. If you want to, if you execute this particular command, the path will be configured. Okay, the same thing goes for Linux. So the if you want to download for Linux or Mac, you just download based on your architecture. Okay, so rel or Amazon, whatever it is, you just execute it so that one particular Terraform exe file will be downloaded. Okay, so that file, for that file you need to configure the environment variable. You can go for export command or whatever it is. Okay, that's a very simple one. Okay, okay, and then we have to install the AWCL as well. Suppose if you are going to practice Terraform on from your laptop, then your laptop should have the AWCL. Okay, so how to install that? So already you are aware of that. Just I'm showing you. Okay, so just to download it for Windows. So if you want to install Linux, just choose Linux. Okay, and just I'm executing this. So again, I'm telling why we are
We can
installing.
install. Can we install AWS CLI on Azure VM also, right? From there we can
Yeah, yeah,
access
yeah, you
AWS.
can do it. Yeah, that is VM. That's it. You can install anywhere. That's not an issue. Okay. this job is done. Okay, so now if I want to verify whether it is installed or not, you just check the command aws aws version. Okay, it is installed now. Okay, the same thing goes for Azure as well. Suppose you are going to manage Azure from Terraform, then install Azure CLI. Okay. Okay. Why do we need the CLIs? For authentication purpose only. We are not going to do anything with these things. We are not going to use any of the Azure command line tool or AWS command line tool. No, we are we are installing this only for authentication purpose. Once it is authenticated, the Terraform will be taking care of the remaining things. Okay. So yeah, Azure.
It's like in the PowerShell, we are providing the authentication for the.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. Yes. Because if Terraform wants to do something on the remote platform, Terraform have to have access, right? So for that purpose
Yeah.
only we are doing this. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So Azure is getting installed. Meanwhile, in the AWS, you have to have the programmatic access. Okay. Then that has to be configured in your CLI so that whenever you are executing the Terraform, it will directly communicate to that particular AWS account. It will do the action whatever you have written in the code. Okay. So for that, you have to go to AWS and go to IAM and users. You may create a new user for Terraform. Okay. Okay. So maybe let me take this. So here you need to create a security credential. Okay. So create access key for command line interface and next. So this stuff, this access key and secret key, you have to configure. Okay. So where you can configure, where you have installed the AWS CLI, there you have to configure. I mean, where you are going to execute the Terraform, there you have to configure. So this is the server. Let's assume this is the server. If you are going to execute the Terraform, then here we need to configure it, right? So AWS configure. If you type this command, it will ask you the access key. Okay, just paste this and then secret key region leave it as default. Okay, that's it. Now this machine is now this particular machine is able to communicate the AWS. Okay, so it means if we execute the Terraform also can communicate the AWS. So that is the logic behind this. Okay, so to check this out, so I'm just AWS S3 LS. Okay, so yeah, it is it is showing what are the buckets we have in the AWS. So in this way we can confirm we have configured the AWS in this particular laptop or server. Okay, the same way if you go for Azure, just install the Azure from some downloaded one. Okay, that's it. Now Azure or CL is also we have installed now. Okay, so to confirm that AZ version. So yes, Azure is also installed. So here we can use there for AWS we used access can
Sorry for the
script.
interruption. See,
Yeah.
this Azure CLI under AWS CLI is to access the Azure portal or Terraform. So what exactly it is?
Okay. Yeah, that's what I told. We are doing this installation for authentication purpose only. So
No,
suppose
to access
you,
the
you
Azure portal, right? So Azure environment.
access the Azure portal or access the AWS portal. That's it.
Yeah, AWS CLI is to access the AWS portal, and the Azure
Yes.
CLI is to access the Azure portal.
Yes. Yes. Why I'm showing
Okay.
both? Because I'm not aware from which background you people are
Got it.
coming
Got it.
from, right? So that's why I'm just showing both. Okay. So to log into Azure, like I think Azure login. If you do this login, yes. Okay, I am not. I don't remember the Azure credential, but if you just give a username and password, it will get authenticated, and from there you can execute the Terraform. So Terraform can authenticate Azure portal, and it will do the job. Okay. So these are we have to do. These are the very foremost prerequisites. Okay. So can you just tell me how many people are from AWS and how many people are from Azure so that I can plan accordingly for the demos and then sample?
Like, can you make a voting or something like that? Or
Yeah. In the
yeah,
WhatsApp group, I will do that. Okay. Later you
yeah.
just do it. Yeah, fine. Yeah, that's good idea. Okay. So
We do
we
have
have done this.
VMware guy also. So I'm from VMware as well as AWS. So that's
Okay, VMware actually we don't have the lab setup, but
no,
in
no
this
issues.
part.
I'm just letting you know that's it.
Yeah,
Okay,
actually,
okay,
for
yeah,
the
fine, fine, fine.
VMware, at least we Suresh, try for any integration of the. We have to integrate the platform on Terraform with the VMware. As you said, you mentioned
Yeah, just
about
a
the.
basic command. So you don't want to execute
Yeah,
anything, but we can show some demo like how that can be done. So instead of because we don't have a lab setup, I understood. But as a
Yeah, yeah.
normal code, like for in case if I want to create new VM, which code and where exactly needs to
That definitely
get
I will show
the
that. Yeah, that I will show it. Yeah. Okay.
sure.
So this is the GitHub repo I keep on told you. So this will be shared in WhatsApp.
When
You
we can
can
expect the recordings? I mean,
recording at the end of the day. I think maybe I don't know the
why?
situation of
Because in case if
Stanley.
we miss the class, right? So because next day we need to be ready by watching this video.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
correct,
since we
correct.
do our
So
official work, we may not attend the class also. So that's the reason.
yeah, yeah. Normally Stan will upload this recording like within 2 to 3 hours. But in worst scenario, he will upload at least at the end of the day. Okay.
Okay,
But
okay,
I
fine.
will make sure I will coordinate with him and I will upload the recording maybe in 2 to 3 hours itself. Huh?
Fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
So this is the GitHub repo I was talking about. This will be shared in WhatsApp. What you do, you can you need to have the GitHub account. Better you have the GitHub account, okay? And then from there you can access it, okay? So like this day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, like that. I will keep on add. So whatever we have discussed for day 1, that will be here. And what I mean, particularly for the lab session, okay? And for day 2 there will be another folder and the subfolders will be there based on the sections or demos, okay? So better to go through this as soon as we complete the session on each day, okay? So now if I go to here, it will have the link and then the commands, everything will be here. You just follow it to install the uh, command line tool and then Terraform, okay? So for the day 1 we don't have much, it's all very theoretical, but from day 2 onwards it's we are going to start the practical the pure Terraform practical sessions, okay? Okay, fine. So yeah, that's it from my end, and that's it for today. If you have any questions, just you can ask me, or if you miss to ask, if you have if you get a query after the session, you can ask me at the starting of the session, no, in the next session. So yeah, that's what. So any questions? I think for
So
two.
every yeah, so every class will start at 8:30 or 8 o'clock, Suresh.
No, it's 8:30, 8:30 to 10:30.
Okay, fine. Okay.
Yeah. So let's have small knowledge check here. So can anyone tell me what is IAC?
Infrastructure as a code.
Infrastructure as a code.
Yeah, then I can ask what is infrastructure as a code?
I mean, we can make changes, or we can create the infrastructure using a code.
Yeah, that's it, right? So, okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell me the list of IAC tools?
I
Ansible.
mean, yeah.
Yeah, then
Terraform and I mean, name one.
Terraform, Chef, Puppets,
yeah,
Ansible,
those are the
Docs.
IAC tools. Yeah, correct. So if customer wants automation for application deployment and reconfiguration the application, which is the best IAC tool to use?
Ansible.
Puppet.
Yeah,
Ansible.
Puppet or Ansible.
Ansible.
Yeah, everything is fine. But we should not go for Terraform in this case, okay? Okay. Yeah, that's it for today. We will meet up in the next session on Thursday, okay?
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, so just be ready. So next session we will discuss about the coding tool, VS Code, okay? That is another prerequisite. I will tell you how to install, how to configure those stuff, and we will see what is the basic commands, and we'll just move on slowly for the Terraform side. Okay. Yeah. Then if you don't have any questions, we can wind up, and we will meet up on next session.
Thank you, Suresh. Thank you all.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.